What if the holiest night of the year turned into a nightmare right in front of your eyes? What if a man doing his duty to protect worshippers suddenly became the target of the very crowd he was there to safeguard? This is the story of a night I will never forget, a night when fear spread faster than the chants echoing through the narrow lanes of Srinagar's old city. It was the summer of 2017. I was working as a local photojournalist in Srinagar, living in a small rented room in the congested lanes of Nawada. My window overlooked the historic Jamia Masjid, one of the most important mosques in Kashmir. Every evening, the call to prayer would fill the air, mixing with the sounds of daily life. Children playing, shopkeepers closing their shutters, and the distant hum of security vehicles. That particular Thursday, 22 ND June 2017, felt heavier than usual. It was Laylat al-Qadr, Shabi Qadr, believed to be the night when the Quran was revealed to Prophet Muhammad, one of the most sacred nights in Ramadan. Thousands of devotees from across the city and nearby areas had gathered for night-long special prayers. The atmosphere inside and around the mosque was electric with devotion. Men, women, and families streamed in, carrying prayer mats, reciting du'as, and seeking blessings. As a journalist, I had gone out that evening with my camera to capture the spiritual mood, the soft glow of lights, the sea of worshippers, the peaceful faces illuminated by faith. I knew the old city well. Nawada's narrow wooden houses, the winding alleys, the scent of wet earth after light rain, and the ever-present undercurrent of tension that had become part of life in Kashmir. But that night, I told myself, would be different. It was a night for peace and reflection. I positioned myself near one of the side entrances, staying discreet. No flashy press card, just blending in, clicking a few respectful shots from a distance. Security was tight, but low-key. Plainclothes officers and personnel in civilian dress were deployed to ensure nothing disrupted the prayers. One of them caught my attention earlier, a man in his mid-50s, wearing a simple fair over jeans, moving quietly among the crowd. I later learned he was Deputy Superintendent Muhammad Ayub Pandith of the Jammu and Kashmir Police Security Wing, a veteran officer experienced in counterinsurgency, posted that night to help secure the area so devotees could pray without fear. Around 8 p.m., DSP Ayub Pandith had received orders from police headquarters to report for duty at Jamia Masjid. He arrived and took up his position outside, checking access points and keeping watch. By 10:45 p.m. or so, the prayers inside were intense. Hurriyat leader Mirwais Umar Farooq was addressing the gathering. The air vibrated with recitations and collective amines. Then, shortly after 11 p.m., the mood began to shift. Slogans started rising from parts of the crowd near the mosque gates, voices praising Zakir Musa and calling out in support of Pakistan. The chants grew louder, more aggressive. Pakistan Zindabad, mixed with religious fervor. In Kashmir's old city, such moments could turn volatile in seconds. I lowered my camera, sensing the change. The devotion was still there, but an undercurrent of anger was bubbling up. I was standing not too far when I heard the first shouts of alarm near the entrance. A group of young men had spotted someone they thought was suspicious. Accusations flew. He's clicking pictures for the police. He's an informer. Mukbir. The man they surrounded was DSP Ayub Pandith. He had been observing the area, possibly noting movements as part of his duty. In the dim light and growing commotion, someone claimed he was recording the slogans or the crowd. Within moments, the situation escalated. The group confronted him, demanding to see his identity. He tried to stay calm, explaining he was on duty. But the crowd wasn't listening. More people joined. The circle tightened. Punches started flying. Someone grabbed at his clothes. My heart raced. I was frozen in place, camera hanging uselessly from my neck. Raising it now could make me the next target. This was no Wada at night, a place where rumors spread like wildfire and mistaken identities could prove fatal. DSPIU pandas realized the danger. As the mob grew to hundreds, he drew his service pistol in self-defense. He fired first in the air, hoping to disperse them. When that didn't work, he fired at the lower limbs of some attackers, injuring 3 people. It was a desperate attempt to save his own life. But instead of backing off, the mob became enraged. The gunshots only fueled the fury. Rumors exploded. He's from the CID. He's a non-Muslim spy. Indian agent. IB raw. Some even mistook his name or appearance in the chaos. The crowd swelled to over 200 people. They overpowered him completely. What followed was horrifying. They dragged him through the streets of Nowata. They stripped him of his clothes, leaving him naked and vulnerable. Stones, sticks, logs, iron rods, and sharp objects rained down on him. The screams echoed between the old wooden houses. People in the mob were relentless. Kicking, beating. Even reports later mentioned extreme brutality as he fell. I stayed at a safe distance in the shadows, my legs shaking. The narrow lanes that usually felt familiar now seemed like a trap. The sounds were unbearable. The thud of stones hitting flesh, the angry roars of the mob, the desperate cries that grew weaker. They pulled him toward a nearby lane, possibly near Batichowk. The attack continued mercilessly until he lost consciousness from blood loss and injuries. By the time police reinforcements arrived, firing shots in the air to scatter the crowd, it was too late. DSPIU Panada's body was left mutilated beyond immediate recognition. Security forces recovered what remained and rushed it to the police control room. Curfew was clamped down immediately across the area. The old city, which had been alive with prayers just hours earlier, fell into an eerie silence broken only by patrolling vehicles. That night, I ran back to my room, locked the door, and sat in complete darkness. My hands wouldn't stop trembling. I kept replaying the scenes in my mind. 1 minute. This officer was performing his duty, protecting worshippers on a holy night. The next, suspicion, rumors, and mob justice had turned him into a target. He lived in the nearby Nauper area, known to locals, yet in the frenzy, none of that mattered. The official investigation confirmed the sequence. The confrontation started around 11:30 p.m., escalated quickly, and ended in his death shortly after midnight. Over 20 people were arrested in the following days. One key instigator named in reports was later linked to militant groups and killed in an encounter. The case saw a prosecution, with the National Investigation Agency eventually involved amid questions of planning versus spontaneous violence. Some accused received bail years later due to evidentiary issues, but the horror of that night lingered. For those of us living in Nowata, the images never faded. The narrow alleys where children played by day now carried the memory of brutality. Families mourned a dedicated officer who had served for decades. His relatives spoke of the shock. A man who went out to ensure safety during sacred prayers never returned home. Kashmir has witnessed violence from many sides over the years. Security personnel face constant risks, with many officers losing their lives in targeted attacks. But this incident stood out because it happened in full public view, during a night meant for mercy and forgiveness, fueled by suspicion and a mob that acted in seconds without verification. Mirwais Umar Farouk himself condemned the mob violence, calling against the spirit of Islam and humanity. It was a rare voice highlighting how such acts shame everyone. Even today, years later, when I walk past Jamia Masjid on quiet evenings, the weight of that night returns. The beautiful mosque, with its majestic architecture and history, now carries its dark memory alongside its spiritual significance. I think about how quickly fear and rumor can override reason, how a single mistaken shout can snowball into irreversible tragedy. Living in a conflict zone teaches hard lessons. You learn to be cautious, to avoid crowds when tensions rise, to question narratives that spread too fast. But nothing prepares you for witnessing a man being torn apart while trying to protect others. This story isn't about taking sides in Kashmir's complex politics. It's about the human cost, the officer who died doing his job, the families affected, and a society that still grapples with cycles of violence and mistrust. If you've ever lived through uncertain times or seen how quickly a situation can spiral, you understand the helplessness I felt that night. One wrong whisper, one spark of suspicion, and lives change forever. What do you think drives a crowd to such extremes in moments of high emotion? How can societies prevent such tragedies while respecting faith and security? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below. If stories like this real incidents from tense times, told with honesty, resonate with you, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. That way, you won't miss the next deep dive into events that shape lives in this region and beyond. Stay safe, stay thoughtful, and I'll see you in the next video.